I actually think I enjoyed this movie. Sup guys, Catastrophe here. Now, I know I haven't filmed a video for a very long time, and there are a few reasons for that. First off was because I went away for summer vacation, and the place where I was staying couldn't access the certain things I needed to film videos. Second reason was because when I came back, I had to get my wisdom teeth taken out, so yeah. And then the third reason was because of school starting up and things that kind of shifted around, so I didn't have the proper time to put out videos. But I finally have one that's going to be coming out, so yay! And while I was away, I happened to find on YouTube a video which was basically the entire movie for Ice Age 5, and that is what I'm going to be talking about today. So this is my Ice Age 5 review. I know I've made videos before, but I thought I would finally do it, so yeah. I was so happy to find a full-length movie on YouTube, so that was really helpful. And I gotta say, I actually think I enjoyed this movie. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like Ice Age 4. Ice Age 1 was great, Ice Age 2 was good, Ice Age 3 was actually really funny, and Ice Age 4 was awful. But now I feel like, for some reason, I actually found this one enjoyable, and I'm gonna explain why. So starting off with the story, it's all about Scrat causes a meteorite to end up heading towards Earth, and the rest of the characters have to try to figure out a way to get the asteroid to go back to where it came from. Along the way, meeting new characters, finding new family issues to resolve, and all that stuff. However, pretty much all the characters in this movie felt useless. I'm gonna be straight up and honest, like the main story is mostly about Manny, as is with every Ice Age film. In this one, Manny is learning to accept Peaches getting married and moving out of home. However, that storyline feels kind of boring. Like, it's the main storyline, basically, but it just doesn't really feel necessary to what's going on. And though it does have its kind of ups and downs, the entire time it doesn't really feel needed. Mainly because the character Julian, who is Peach's fiancé, really feels weird. Like, we don't get much of a backstory for him, so we don't know how exactly they met, we don't know how they ended up in love, considering that Lewis had a crush on Peaches in the last movie. And then there's Diego and Shira. Diego wants to have cubs. Shira is a little iffy about it because they don't feel like they're good with kids. And it doesn't go anywhere. They don't have them, they don't have cubs, and unless that's solved by the next movie, I don't think that they're gonna have them at all. And then there's Sid. Oh, Sid. Sid finally gets a girlfriend in this, so which I have touched on before. However, with his storyline, it just feels kind of out of nowhere. So like with Sid meeting this new character Brooke and falling in love with her, it just kind of feels more comedic rather than necessary. And sure, I'm happy that Sid finally has a mate, but still. However, the main story involving all of the characters going to find a spot to get rid of the asteroid is actually somewhat interesting. When I meet these new characters, which includes a character known as the Shangri-Lama, a rabbit named Teddy, and Brooke the Sloth, it just kind of feels odd because they come like within the second to third act of the movie, and they don't have too much character to them or too much about them. They seem a little bit more flat than all the other characters. That being probably because we just see them now and we don't really get much about them. And then there's Scrat's story. Scrat's story isn't really the most interesting, and it's more of Looney Tunes style gags, so it's not really funny to me. That being said, it's okay, I guess, but still, it's just a whole bunch of mindless gags to get children laughing. However, there was one certain thing that kind of saved this movie for me, and that was Buck. If any of you guys have seen my other videos, you would know that Buck is my favorite character from Ice Age. To see him now in this movie, he actually seems a little bit different than he was in Ice Age 3. In Ice Age 3, he was a lot more of a comedic relief. In this one, the story is pretty much his. It starts out with Manny, keeps going, and then finally when it goes into Buck's story, he kind of steals the show, kind of like he did in the third movie. But in this one, he's a bit more logical and like he's got a plan. There's even a few little character flaws to him. A lot more character is sort of based around him. So I gotta really give them props for that because a lot of people were mad that he wasn't in the last movie. They're the villains of the film. These dino birds. I don't remember what they were called. They're just called dino birds, let's just say. I gotta say, they're actually not the worst villains in the world, but yeah. These are actually good villains at the end of the film because it shows that kind of peril. They aren't exactly like the most fleshed out villains or probably the best of the bunch, but they do show like a weird family structure that is interesting. I'm gonna be honest, I thought they were all guys, and then it turned out one of them was a girl, and I was like, oh, I did not expect that. So that's that. But to get back on to Buck, he is definitely the best character in this. He's got the most personality, the most, I'd say, enjoyable jokes, in my mind at least. And he's actually a cool character to see, like, how serious he can get or how funny he can get. And there is one point where he ends up finding a little tiny pumpkin and decides to adopt it as a child because he thinks it's a baby. But hey, he married a pineapple, I can't fault him for that. I have to say something a lot of you probably don't know. In my last video, I made a comment about the mini-corns, as they are called in Ice Age 4, in the previous teasers. And then, a couple months later, I learned that they were played by the one and only Superwoman. And I felt really bad because I love her with all my heart, so I was like... But, if she ever happens to find this, I'm really sorry for saying that those characters weren't necessary. And I still I like the unicorns, but they just didn't have a lot to them, per se. So, let's see, what else is it? So, the animation. What was the animation like? The animation was actually really good. In the first film, I remember it looked a lot like a video game. And then as the movies progress, they get a lot more texture and they look a little bit more realistic. You can say, like, you can see the textures of the film. However, as with the movements that the characters do, sometimes it's more slapstick kind of movements or things like that. I really thought the animation was good. The colors, the textures, they were all really nice looking. But overall, I thought this movie was decent. I thought it was okay for somewhat of a teen audience. I don't think adults are gonna like it as much as kids are, but these movies are more targeted towards children. That being said, this movie just kind of felt dull, and there's so many voice talents in this film. And unfortunately, one of them was not PewDiePie. As hard as I looked, I could not find PewDiePie in the cast list. And apparently Scrat doesn't talk in this movie. Overall, I'd say the movie wasn't that bad. I'd say it's a lot better than Ice Age 4, and that's really satisfying. Overall, I'd say that this movie is about... I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It's a fair mark, but it's just not exactly the most amazing film that came out this year. Moana is probably gonna win that title. Either that or Finding Dory. Those were great. So, that is my review. Really hope you guys enjoyed. Also, leave a comment. Have you seen this movie and did you like it or not? Comment below and let's see if it was good or if it wasn't. So, check out my DeviantArt page, see what else is there. Other than that, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. And I will see you next time. Till then, peace out.